I'm your co-host, Charles Pigg, and you're watching Pod Warriors.
Old Charles and Jared sip the brew. The Pod Warriors are rolling through. They laugh and chat with pints in hand. Two legends gracing every land. Oh, the kiss is goated, ain't no lie. Greatest duo, heaven high. Beer and boobs they think are cool as they make the world their fool.
Dude, it is a large possibility that
it wouldn't be a show.
We are going to eventually be able to do it without technical difficulties.
Oh man. Yes.
One of these days.
Like,
one of these days.
Both of our Wi-Fi's. Both of our Wi-Fi's go down. We're both on mobile hotspot. That's the way to kick off our first Pod Warriors podcast in 2025.
Yeah. I love it here, bro. Drink of choice today.
Well, yes, you made it popular 2 years ago. Jose Echoes, premium quality beer.
Premium quality beer.
Dos Equis, but I like Jose Echoes better.
Dos Equis. I went with
what do we drink?
The Truth Bomb by Rheingeist. It's a local brewery.
Now that sounds good.
Premium quality beer.
You know what's funny is that a few episodes ago I did I promoted Hulk Hogan's beer. Now he's exclusively signed with WWE, though they promote his beer on the shows now.
Interesting.
Yes.
And they just decided that they were going to go to Netflix, right?
They did. So I was very intrigued and wanted to check it out because I knew, they wouldn't be stuck for time on regular TV slots. And of course, like, I don't know, they still censored stuff, which was weird, but they did let some profanity slip. Hey, Jess. I know when The Rock came out, the opening act, he let bullshit slip and it, went across TV. So I was not used to that. I was like, oh, okay, well they're gonna get away with some stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it was definitely interesting. It was a catering to the older fans who haven't watched in a while, or the casual fan. They want all eyes on the product. They did bring out Hulk Hogan.
Yeah,
and he got booed built. Yeah, he got booed.
Interesting.
Did we lose Charles? Oh,
I might have to get a Netflix account.
Yeah. I think they booed Hulk Hogan because I thought it might have been because they were in California and it was, he definitely promoted Trump, but I think it had a lot to do with his, he was banned for WWE for a while because of his racist remarks that were caught on camera or caught on recording or whatever. And so he was kind of outcasted for a while. So I think they still remember that and they're like, no, go away. And he's old.
Right. Jess, you said, when are you? The 12th? What did you say? You said you're doing something the 12th. Is that what you said? I don't remember our conversation. I was drunk.
You did mention several times you were a Bengals fan.
Yeah. I don't know if that was because the liquor or just in general. Like, I'm not trying to be biased. I guess, I don't know. I might have said it like 960 times.
No, they were one of the hottest teams going in. Well, they were the hottest team going into the final 5 weeks. They won 5 in a row. But I just think the Chiefs were like, you know what, man? You can stay home because the Chiefs had to beat Denver for the Bengals to get in the playoffs, and That game wasn't even close.
No, I don't even think they showed up.
No, they didn't. They depended on the Chiefs or the Bengals had to depend on Carson Wentz to win them a football game. He hasn't been a starter in 7 years.
Let's be real. I don't think that guy is even in the
So.
NFL next year.
He might be those career backups because backups have a long career because they don't ever play or not normally they don't have the wear and tear. So, because Dallas had Cooper Rush, he's been in the league for 7-8 years, and you don't have all the wear and tear Dak does. So
That's fair. Am I coming in and out? I don't know.
yeah,
My fucking internet, bro.
you're coming in fine for me. At one point, I thought I lost you, but
I'm coming in good now.
yes.
Okay. Yeah.
What up, Stu?
I don't care what argument anybody has. Joe Burrow is the best quarterback in the league right now.
Yeah, well, he's was he led the league in was it touchdowns or passing yards? He led the league in something, and he's going to be out of the playoffs.
Yeah,
Jamar
it
Chase
was,
was the top receiver out of the playoffs.
Yeah, I think it was like passing yards and touchdowns and second in rating.
Yeah. One of the top offenses had to stay home.
Yeah, I am gonna fix it, but
We are both on mobile hotspot. Yes.
mobile hotspots, because
Both our
my
Wi-Fi's decided to say, "Hey, you know what? Take a break this week."
yeah, my Wi-Fi did not want to work.
Oh, Eagles in the Super Bowl. I think the powers to be want the Chiefs to win it all. I think they want a first three-peat champion after how many
Yeah.
times they've been bailed out this year.
It's definitely going to be the Eagles and Chiefs. Honestly, though,
Yeah.
Go Lions, go Lions.
Definitely go Lions.
And it's not even my hatred for the Chiefs. I just
Heck, I don't even on the AFC side. Go Bills.
yeah, it's not even my hatred.
I think
for
for the
Chiefs.
AFC side, I would go for the. I want to see. I want to see Detroit and Buffalo. Because even Minnesota, because Minnesota hasn't won the Super Bowl either. The Browns are going to the bowl.
The Brown Bowl.
But yeah. And then you got the college football playoffs. I think Texas, my team plays Ohio State. There you go.
What? I don't know what's happening.
Oh, we're talking football right now. I can hear you.
Okay. So confused. Go Chiefs. Get out of here, bro. You're blocked forever.
Chiefs. Get out of here.
So we got Chiefs fan. We got Philadelphia fan. We got the Browns fan. You're a Bengals fan.
Yeah,
Cowboys fan for me. I'm from Texas. So.
Could you imagine being a Browns fan?
Yeah, I thought it was bad being a Cowboys fan, but man, we don't have it worse than Browns. Definitely not.
No. I don't think anybody does.
It's gotta hurt a little bit more too, watching Baker Mayfield make the playoffs with a different team.
Right? Pretty.
They could not find a starting quarterback, and then they got Deshaun Watson, who can't keep his hands to himself. So, married to a Browns fan. They are loyal. My granddad was a Browns fan.
Yeah, I would just straight up be embarrassed.
But hey, you can't dog them for not being true fans because you haven't left yet. You're good. Oh, I mean, Lions fans had to suffer for so long too. Now they're consistently good now.
They're consistently good, but can you imagine too, like Matthew Stafford leaving and doing good
You go.
things? Am I gone again? Fuck my life, bro.
I am cutting out, or you're cutting out on me. That's probably my internet.
I mean, it could be a combination of both. Like after the last couple of weeks, yeah, 100%, bro. I'm buying another. I'm buying another system.
You think it has anything to do with the cold? Like you said you got a lot of snow, and I'm about to get a lot of snow up here.
I mean, yeah, but it's been consistently bad for like months. So, I mean, to be fair, the Chiefs are still horrible.
I don't know how they won 15 games. Like it's the way they won this year. I have some black. Jeez.
Andy Reid.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair. And the Bengals decided that they were going to fire every one of their coaches. Where'd Jarrett go? Am I the one that's frozen or is he? My boy got disconnected. It wouldn't even be a Pod Warriors episode without a technical difficulty, bro.
Oh, for real.
No, I mean I believe it's like one of the things. I wonder. I don't buy into the hype that like the NFL is like wrestling. I don't believe like the winner is predetermined or anything.
Yeah.
Could you imagine the level of like cooperation they would need to have like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people all be in it at the same time? That'd be crazy.
Yeah, I don't think it's scripted, as they say.
Yeah.
I do think sometimes Vegas has a lot to do with the outcome of certain games. We're like the line, like there is some things that are weird about it, but I mean, like to be fully, that'd be literally impossible to do.
Yeah. And I can agree with that too, because I know that like there's videos that come out all the time that like have some type of proof to do that, where somebody slides just before they get a touchdown and that touchdown could have won them 500 grand. Yeah. Totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Bengals and the Browns.
Yeah.
The Bengals and the Browns are guilty of this. Facts.
And the Cowboys. All they care about is making money.
So his name has escaped me because we're talking about it. Head coach of the Cowboys.
Of the Browns?
No, of the Cowboys.
Oh, Mike McCarthy.
Mike McCarthy. How does he still have a job?
Technically, his contract runs out on the 14th. He technically doesn't have a job right now. They're probably either renegotiating or he's got to decide. See, Jerry doesn't like to pay coaches beyond what if they're not coaching there during those years that he paid, they get a guaranteed contract. He hates paying coaches beyond that. So he doesn't like to fire anybody anymore. It's like, okay, your contract ran out. So either we're going to do another contract or we're just going to let your contract run out and we'll go a different direction. So in typical Cowboys fashion, they're delaying the process of whether they're bringing him back or not. But I don't think it's a problem with him. It's more so it's the culture that Jerry and his son Steven have they've created. Because everybody every year I hear, oh, we just get rid of the coach. If we just get rid of Dak Prescott. Before that, it was we just get rid of Jason Garrett. If we just get rid of Tony Romo, it doesn't matter who's there.
No.
Jerry Jones, the Jones family is still running it. That's your problem. Until if they ever go away, because I can see where Jerry dies off and it's given to his kids. And then is it going to be run any better? I don't think so.
I mean, that's a similar situation in Cincinnati right now. Like Mike Brown, Paul Brown, I forget his daughter's name, but she's got like a big hand in the game right now. She's made some good changes.
Yeah. I mean, they've been to the Super Bowl recently, unlike Dallas. So, I mean, they got a good young core. They just can't keep it consistent every year.
Yeah, I mean, we would not have Joe Burrow right now if it wasn't for the daughter.
Yeah.
But, because, I mean, we would still be running with Andy Dalton, to be honest.
Yeah, that man, that's a career backup ever since he left the Bengals. He's been on 4 different teams since then as a backup. That's what they do.
Yeah, the coach pay is the only, like all the coaches, defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator, head coach. They're the only ones that don't have their salaries capped.
Yeah, and I don't understand why the richest owner in sports wants to be cheap on that.
Yeah,
like he pays. I think it's a 16th salary for Mike McCarthy, and then you got 15 other teams paying their head coach more. Shocking to me, but
yeah, it is. I know. Like I just found out today that they pay Zach Taylor of the Bengals. They pay him as a head coach like $4.5 million.
That's about what Mike McCarthy gets.
$4.5 million to call 3 run plays in a row in overtime. It's just, God, dude.
But you got coaches that get paid. I think the highest pay was $20 million. I think Andy Reid gets paid $20 million, and then a couple other coaches a little bit below that. Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah. And see, Detroit's offensive coordinator, he's a hot candidate for any team that's hiring a head coach. He's wanting $20 million a year first year. The first time he's going to be a head coach, he wants $20 million a year.
Could you imagine?
Someone's going to do it.
Yeah, somebody will. Probably the Raiders.
So I could see that. Tom Brady is partial owner of that franchise. I could see it.
Yeah.
But I
If you
heard also
were,
they want to swing. Oh, go ahead.
no, you go ahead because you were going to finish a thought.
Oh, I was just saying, they're swaying, trying to sway Bill Belichick to come out instead of taking the North Carolina job. Supposedly, the Raiders want to bring in Belichick with Brady. That's all.
Mm.
Anyway,
She said
finish your thought.
she said 100 million extension.
Almost for $20 million a year for 5 years. That's crazy.
That is crazy. If you
Yeah.
were a professional wrestler, what would your stage name be?
Man, I couldn't do Jericho. That's a nickname, but it's Chris Jericho, and so that would be. I don't think I could go off of that one. So that is really tough. Because I always dreamed of being a professional wrestler at one point in my career, and I could never come up with a good name. Damn. Like my dad's name is Rick, so I always thought about using the first name being Rick with something else because there was Rick Rude and Rick Steiner, and Rick's a good professional wrestling name. I needed the
Yeah.
last name. I don't think Rick Howard would be a intimidating name though. So
I wouldn't say so.
but yeah, I use Jericho on TikTok, and I Jericho. It's kind of yeah. What about you though?
I would probably be Leather Undies.
What would be the gimmick? Just wearing leather undies to the ring?
I would wear leather undies, but no, I would actually just wear like a full body suit, and it would be like an Invisible Man suit. And like my finishing move would be I rip the invisible suit off and I'm just wearing nothing but leather undies, and it's an elbow from the top rope.
Dig it. Oh my god, it's leather undies.
I know it's stupid.
Part of it is stupid, but that's what makes it great.
I don't know. For the longest time, it was
Yeah, I would
Pigman.
Pigman. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
You already have a great last name, so like, you could easily use your last name in a wrestling as a wrestling stage name.
Right. And then I thought about like my mascot, or like I would like Jake the Snake would bring out a snake. I would bring out a pig.
I mean,
Like
it
a-
works.
like a honker of a pig, right?
Like you could be like, it'd be Charlie Pig instead of Charles, because Charlie Pig.
Oh my god, my gimmick could be like a super big redneck.
Yeah, I mean it works.
Charlie Pig.
It'd be like a mixture of you remember Mick Foley and his 3 gimmicks that he had. He had Mankind, Dude Love, and Cactus Jack. Cactus Jack would be kind of similar to you. Just doing crazy shit.
I fucking loved Mankind.
Mm-hmm.
What that man put his body through on a daily basis was crazy to me.
Yeah, he can't even barely walk anymore. Like he has a bad hip.
And for me, I mean, I know that we were talking about this earlier. Like, I know the outcome might be like staged or fake or whatever, but those motherfuckers are on the road for every day of the year.
Almost.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah. And you got to think about it too. They have events where, I mean, it's not on TV, so you're just going out to wrestle. There's no promos. There's just you're going to
Yeah.
wrestle for the night, and that's consistent every day on the road. And like, they're responsible for their own transportation, their own food. Like they don't, none of that's paid for. Their insurance not paid for either. They're independent. They're independent contractors. That's what the contract says.
What?
At least for the WWE. I'm not sure about AEW, but yeah,
What?
yeah.
That's
And they get
wild.
paid, a regular, you know, wrestler that's not on a lot of TV a lot maybe gets 100K, if not lesser than that in the biggest company. I'm like, I've made more than some of those wrestlers I have in my lifetime or per year,
Yeah.
and that's crazy to me.
I mean, I
And they
did
get
with one
TV
of my
time,
jobs
so
too.
it's like, okay, yeah, for the amount of work and what they have to do to put their bodies on the line. I'm like, man, I don't have to do any of that, and I get paid more. That's crazy.
Do they have like um shirt deals, merchandise deals?
They do get merch deals. I mean, they can't. I mean, the bigger wrestlers, and then like if you're in the main event scene, you get more money. But if you're on the lower end of the card, you don't. And then of course they got royalties, like if they sell like I don't know, like action figures, you get royalties from that. I mean they do have that. They do have endorsements, but you got to make it to where you get all that.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, he was
Jarek,
booed,
yeah, Jarek was just saying that he was.
and a lot of people thought initially it was because of his political beliefs because he endorsed Trump. But if that was the case, because it was in California, if that was the case, Undertaker would have been booed because he endorsed Trump and a couple others. And Undertaker's a legend; he was there on the show. Uh,
Yeah.
but I think it's more so his racist comments he made about almost 10 years ago. So I don't think people have forgotten that. Plus, he's always had that reputation of telling lies or you know using creative control to go over people and wouldn't put certain people over. So like he has a history of being doing backstage politics, and then of course his racist rant that he went on that was recorded. So
Yeah.
I think it had a lot to do with that.
Favorite wrestler of all time.
Ooh. Okay, so I'll have to explain it. So like I started watching wrestling religiously right when Hogan turned heel to join the NWO. I started watching like a few weeks before he turned heel. And then he became the leader of the NWO. So like I wasn't allowed to watch WWE or WWF at the time when it was the Attitude Era, and then like WCW went out of business. That's when I was pretty much would sneak to watch the show. Um, so Sting, yeah, Sting was mentioned as one of my favorites growing up. Um, Goldberg, and then when I switched over to WWE, uh, man, I love Stone Cold. Um, of course, The Undertaker, uh, and Hogan was one of my favorites too. And then as time goes on and you start watching it more, my current favorite would be CM Punk. I don't know. Me? How old am I? I'm 37. So, but yeah, my current favorite CM Punk, and then of course like the current wrestlers. I guess if you want to be current, man, that's tough. I like Roman. Roman's good, but Yeah, it varies, but yeah, when she mentioned Sting and like WCW, it was like Sting and Goldberg and all that. Those were my all time favorites. And you know, my favorites evolve over time as I get older. But how about
Yeah.
you?
So I think that there's like some classics to remember, like Sting, Stone Cold, The Undertaker, Triple H. You know, there's some classics to remember. My favorite
Yeah.
wrestler of all time, I don't think anybody remember. Well, I don't know. I think everybody might remember Sergeant Slaughter.
Oh yeah, Slaughter. Of
Yeah.
course.
Sergeant Slaughter was one of my favorites, and I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that I was just like such a big GI Joe fan.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And he had a classic rivalry with Hogan. And
Yeah.
when he actually turned heel and it was anti-America, people were mad. People legit were mad.
They were.
And
Heck
that's what I
Soldier
loved
Logan.
about bad guys. Like there's always the cool bad guy that you cheer. But if you can generally get people to hate you, you're good. You're good.
True.
Especially in this day and age. It's really hard to make people hate you in this day and age, but if you are good at it, yeah.
Yeah. Like the Rock when he first came on the scene. Like
Was a smiling baby face, right?
yeah. Yeah, a lot of people didn't want to buy into his character, and now he's one of the highest paid motherfuckers on the planet.
Mm-hmm. And then when they pushed his cousin Roman Reigns as they pushed him for years though as the good guy, and then he finally turned heel 4 years ago. Greatest thing they could have ever done. It was they should have done it sooner, but it's the classic thing of let's turn this guy heel like his cousin, and he got over. He's more over now than he ever was, and he's a good guy again. Sometimes you gotta let him go heel, but they never did that with John Cena. I was actually surprised they never did that. But now he's on a retirement tour. This is last year wrestling, and he's gonna in the year retiring. So I know a lot of people, John Cena is their favorite, but I grew up on John Cena as well. But I'm tied to the older wrestlers. And I'm actually currently watching. Oh, go ahead.
I didn't know that Roman Reigns was The Rock's cousin.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
yep. They have the same grandfather.
Now, did you like Stone Cold for the same reasons a lot of people liked him? Which was the middle finger to the boss.
Actually, not even that. It was just the middle finger. It was the way he could cut a promo. The middle finger is just like that's part of his character, but he can cut. He's one of the best talkers in the biz. Still is if he ever when he gets out there. It was the way he could make the crowd either hate. Like he was good as a heel and a baby face. He just had it.
Yep.
Like the anti-authority. Yeah, that was great and all, but characters like that have to evolve, and he did that with Vince McMahon for a while. Then he turned heel. He had some funny stuff. Like some of his heel stuff is pretty damn funny. Like he was good. He was that good.
Yeah. I ask that because my reason for liking him was was not like the majority thinking, right? Like he was a basic character, wore black tights, black knee pads, black boots, wore a black
Mhm.
vest. My reason for liking the dude was his fucking personality was like crazy, but he could draw a crowd around him, and it didn't matter if he was a good guy or a bad guy, heel or
Yep.
baby face. It didn't matter. People just bought into his personality because he like his fighting style wasn't very technical. It was more striking, blah blah blah. But
Yeah.
he was one of my top favorites, uh, simply because I liked all the stuff he did with the Undertaker.
Yeah.
Hands down, like some of my favorite fondest memories from wrestling.
That and his rivalry with The Rock too. But what's
Yes.
crazy about him is like his persona was not when he was doing WCW and then when he went to WWF. That transition from WCW to WWF, he was a Hollywood blonde. He didn't have the Stone Cold, just the straight up. Oh, I'm a wrestler. And
Yeah.
then he came up with that gimmick probably on his own. He was able to change who he was. Like now, you just believe that he was always been a redneck drinking beer son of a bitch. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of those wrestlers are remembered
So
from those kind of a lot of the wrestlers are remembered from like their peak, right? Like not a lot of people remember what some of the wrestlers did before that. Like Kane.
yeah.
Kane before he
Oh
became Kane, he was like a crazy dentist.
yeah, Isaac Yankem.
Isaac Yankem. I forgot his name, but yeah, that is
Yeah,
wild to me that
yeah.
nobody really remembers people in the wrestling organization. They never remember them for like what they did before they
Mhm.
became very popular.
Yep.
Kane is a prime example.
Yep. Yeah. Heck, even Undertaker was before he was just Mark Calloway. He was
Yeah.
Crazy Mark in WCW,
There was
and he actually did face
another
off with Sting in WCW. That's what that was a dream match.
there was another persona that Mark Calloway had. Mm.
The American Badass.
Now that was after the Undertaker. I'm talking about before he was the Undertaker.
Well,
I
originally he was supposed to be called Kane the Undertaker, but I don't know. That was just an idea. But I just remember Crazy Mark or Mean Mark or something like that, where he was just a bland wrestler, black tights, like you mentioned.
yeah.
Yeah, just big guy.
Yeah, a lot of those dudes are fucking huge.
hmm I mean, then you got Kevin Nash, who was Diesel in WWF, but he had gimmicks before. Like he went back and forth when his first stint in WCW. He was like Oz and something else. Like they, yeah. Had he not had he not gone to WWE and became a star, then he wouldn't have became Kevin Nash. But like when WCW had him, it was like, yeah, he's gonna be the Oz, Mister or Wizard of Oz, whatever.
Du
While I was there,
what was crazy to me was, in WCW, Lex Luthor.
yes,
His finishing move, rack,
Torture Rack,
the torture rack, right?
yeah,
Like, w he was such a weird gimmick, but people still bought into that. People love that guy.
Yeah.
And how he was like one of the biggest enemies of the NWO as a baby face. That
Yep.
that was like some of the best television for wrestling.
Oh, yeah. But do you remember when he joined the NWO Wolfpack?
Yeah. What is a
Yeah. So like with that,
what is a wrestler that you absolutely hated and did not just absolutely hated?
growing up.
Yeah, or now, whatever.
Oh, okay. That's a good. Okay. I actually hated Roddy Piper in WCW. I didn't. I didn't see his WWE work before that, but when he came to WCW, I hated him. I was like, I don't like him. He beats Hulk Hogan. Like Hulk Hogan was my favorite, even in NWO at the time.
Yeah.
Don't like him. But then I see how good he was on the mic as a heel. I'm like, man, I wish I could have been there for those days.
The reason I ask is because that's my same answer. And and honestly, the weird thing is like I don't know if that's what they were going for, but yeah, it was just one of those things where it's like that motherfucker. Like, yeah. Shawn Michaels is another good one. Uh I didn't really like the guy until the fun portion where they became DX with him and Triple H.
Yeah.
Like that was some fun wrestling. But I hated Shawn Michaels so long simply because whenever they screwed over Bret Hart.
Yeah. And that was the
And I
creation of Mr. McMahon.
yeah, and I think that that's why a lot of people disliked him. But Bret Hart was such a great fucking wrestler, and he died in that sport for those people. I mean, he's obviously still alive, but he he put everything into every single match. Like he was fun to watch.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't remember if it was like a Monday night or whatever, or if it was like a pay-per-view, but were you watching when Owen Hart died?
I see. Okay, so in that era, especially then, I couldn't definitely didn't get WWF pay per views. I only was able to watch WCW and WCW pay per views, but I think I did watch the Raw after he died, and that was a good tribute show. Yeah, it
You,
was pretty sad, but yeah, I remember that.
you were there. I was watching, like I don't remember everything that was happening, but that was such a weird time for me because I was real big into it. Like I bought into it. I was a big fan, huge fan,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. And I watched it religiously, right? But like I was watching it live and I'm like immediately when it happened, I was like there's no way he lived.
Yeah.
There's just no way that he lived. Yeah, that was a tragedy.
Yeah.
Not only that, like what people loved, I don't know if like everybody feels the same like I did, but like I used to love watching like the behind the scenes stuff.
Oh, I still do.
And Owen Hart behind the scenes was super fucking funny. That man was hilarious.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, that
We also cut promos. We cut promos as a heel that were hilarious. Like I remember, I'm not a nugget.
um
That was funny to me at the time.
who what who was it that made fun of him where they were like it's time for you and I to meet nose to nose. That's why that way we'll be miles apart.
Oh, it was some famous impressionist that did that, and he's like, I'm not doing it. It was hilarious. I
Dude,
can't
that
remember
was a
his name
good
now, but
time,
I
dude.
remember
Such a good time.
that. He was so underrated. If he got to live longer, he would have got a big push.
Yeah, he would have.
Oh yeah, but yeah, Roddy Piper was one I hated. I'm trying to think who else I actually did not like growing up, or even now. Uh, you know what? I actually did not like The Miz for a while. I don't know if you know who that is, but did not like him for a while. Then he cut this very good promo one day, and I'm like, oh, okay, all right, I see you. Okay.
Uh, I'll tell you somebody that I never liked from like day one, like whenever they entered the ring. And it's not just me
Who?
basing it off of like his history or anything like that. Chris Benoit.
Oh, even before all that happened?
Yeah, I never liked them.
I will say this: like when he was in WCW, I thought he was boring. They did add some personality when he got to WWF, but like when he was in WCW, I was like, okay, why are they pushing this guy? He's boring. Like he's boring.
Yeah.
And
What
the
is
same with
the
Chris Jericho. Like I didn't. Go ahead.
what is the dude, or do you remember the dude that used to do the mist?
Oh, there's the great. I know in WCW was the Great Muda,
The Great Muda.
and then but
What
in WWF was Tajiri.
Tajiri. I didn't buy into that character,
Does it?
but I love watching the luchadors. I love watching that type of stuff. Like what they can do in the ring
Yeah.
is so good.
Oh yeah. Fabulous Moolah. Oh yeah. I did read about her.
Speaking of Jake the Snake, like he went he was on Rogan's podcast. Man, listen to that guy. His past, what he's been
Oh, he's got
through.
stories.
Man, I respect the hell out of him, to be honest.
Right. I remember watching
Uh,
the behind the scenes when he could barely get out of bed. He couldn't move. And then DDP got him in this yoga program. And now you see
yeah,
him on TV, able to walk around. Like, dude was just pretty much just wasting away. And then DDP's
yeah,
like, hey, come on, man. So,
yeah. Uh, listening to Jake the Snake on Rogan's podcast, where he's talking about how he got his snakes and how they only lasted so long. I was like, whoa. It was an interesting
that's
podcast. I
crazy.
would recommend anybody watching that one.
Yeah.
But
Oh, yeah. That dude has stories for.
DDP is another one that was like super awesome to watch. Like I liked watching that man.
Yeah.
And to see what he does now is super cool.
Oh, yeah. Have you ever been to a live wrestling event on either TV or house show?
No. Uh I always wanted to, but we grew up poor, so no, I
Yeah.
never went.
I so in my like I only went one time as a kid to a WCW or WCW show, but as I got into college and in adult life, like there'd be house shows in Amarillo. But uh my first televised event that I went to was 10 years ago, Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Uh, it was a Raw Monday Night Raw in Dallas, and and I was like, I got to go because they were advertising, Hogan being there, Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair, NWO, uh, DX, and so I went. Of course, all those people were there. And this was the time when Sting had never been in WWE, but he debuted in November 2014. Well, this was January 2015. He hadn't been seen since. Um, and there have been speculation that he's going to show up. And, I'm like, all right, this would be cool. It's from my childhood. And sure enough, at the end of the night, he pops up on screen, stands on the ramp, and then people go crazy. That was my first televised event, and that was fun. I've been to a WrestleMania. I went to WrestleMania the next year in Dallas. That was fun. There was 100,000 people there. But that was my first pay-per-view I ever went to, was WrestleMania. So, yeah, I've been through.
That is a triple crown. That's a triple crown.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've been to a Raw and the Raw after WrestleMania.
So I always wanted to go. Like, that would have been back when I was like a huge fan. Like, that would have been something that I loved to watch. But just never was able to go.
So funny thing about that too is like, so when I went to WrestleMania, they always have Raw after WrestleMania in the same city. So I stayed an extra night to go see Raw, and that's always it was always kind of surprising. Like, they always have a good Raw right after WrestleMania. But it was after the show. It was I was walking outside. It was around the Dallas Mavericks arena, and I see these British YouTubers that I had followed on YouTube for so long standing outside. And I had my ex-wife at the time with me, and I was like, oh my God, they're right there. And she's like, who is that? I was like, you wouldn't know. Like, so I went over there. I'm like rushing over there because they're doing some sort of segment, right? They're filming. I get stopped by two big muscular black dudes. They're like, stop. I'm like, these guys got bodyguards? No. Wale. I don't know if you know who Wale is.
No.
Big rap star. Big rap star, though. I mean, he's tiny. Tiny. They were protecting him because Wale was a big fan of theirs. And I'm like, oh, we got Wale here, I'm like, who is this guy? And ever since that day, like, he's been featured on WWE programming. I'm just like, but I didn't know who he was at the time. I was like, who is this dude? Apparently he's a recording artist. I just never heard of him, but he's apparently pretty big. And I was more excited about meeting the British YouTubers. And I took pictures with them and whatnot. That was fun. But yeah, did not care about Wale. That was more about the British YouTubers that, the fan base around here is probably not big in America, but yeah, that was fun too.
So currently I'm not the biggest fan of like Major League Baseball or anything like that, but my stepfather used to take us to like literally every game. Are you familiar with any of the players from the Reds, like some of the most popular ones, like Barry Larkin?
Oh yeah, I grew up a baseball fan. I still am.
Yeah, like I used to be, but like I'm not anymore. We used to go to like literally every game. I actually have a picture of me as a baby where Barry Larkin is holding me and he signed my onesie.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Tragically, though, we lost all those belongings in a house fire, so don't have it anymore.
I hate the Dodgers. Only because they figured out a way to do the cheat code. Because baseball does not have a salary cap. What they've done, though, is instead of paying all the players guaranteed year after year, they've learned to defer their money. They can pay them later on, like a certain amount after they retire. So they got a stacked team right now, and they're like, oh, we'll just defer it down the road. No big deal.
Interesting.
They're the only ones to do that. Yeah, the only ones to do that now. And they won the World Series. It is a cheat code, Leah. It is. But I mean, it's legal. So I mean, like, I got to get props. So I hate them. They're the new evil empire.
I mean, if it works,
And plus,
and I
all
guess
the forcing villains.
realistically, that's a huge difference between them and the NFL.
Yeah.
Not to go back in time to talk about the NFL, but it's like salary caps are weird to me. But it's like if you know you have a salary cap and you're trying to build a championship team, why are you spending $250 million on one guy? That's weird. That's weird.
Beats me.
But
$60 million. $60 million for a quarterback. I don't know.
Oops, I hit it.
So did I.
I mean, I've been to countless amount of Reds games, but like the tickets for those kind of games are super cheap. So I love going to watch baseball. I'm not a fan of watching it on television, but going to a game, super fun to me.
I love the Rangers, because I'm tech, but like I couldn't watch all 162 games on TV. There's no way.
No.
Like if I have nothing to do and I'll watch it, but in the playoffs, during the playoffs, I'll watch it because that's meaningful games.
Yeah.
But to expect to watch 162 games for your favorite team, that's just literally impossible. And live is fun. Like, well, there's nothing that beats. And plus, like, it's not cheap. The seats are cheap now, but it's the concessions, the merchandise. They're not cheap anymore. It's cheap to get to the game.
No.
As far as you want to eat there, nah.
Yeah, I think that's part of it for me too, is like not only are you watching it live, but like the crowd literally gets into every single game. Win or lose, like they're cheering at the certain times or whatever, singing a certain song, doing the wave. Going live and watching it is super fucking fun. Like that's one of my favorite things to do.
That was great. Well, that's a good way to take advantage of that. Yeah.
No, that is a whole different level of dedication.
Yeah, like I've been to a playoff baseball game compared to regular season though, much more intense because it's sold out. Everybody's got in baseball they got the towel,
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. Now the Rangers lost in the playoff game, but going to a playoff baseball game is much more different than regular season. It's awesome.
I will agree with Roxy because FC Cincinnati, like one of the newer Major League Soccer, it's fun to go and watch those games.
Yeah.
However, I think if I'm being honest with myself, hockey is one of my favorite things to watch live.
So my first NHL game was 2 years ago. I'd been to like minor league hockey games where I was from, but I finally went to a Dallas Star game 2 years ago. Was pleasantly surprised how cool it was. Like, because it was packed. Like I didn't know NHL was that popular, but it is.
It is popular. Yeah, I mean, we used to have right here in my hometown, we used to have the Cincinnati Gardens, and the Mighty Ducks would play here, and we have the Cincinnati Cyclones. They were super fun to go and watch, but also those tickets were like super cheap. So like it was super fun to be able to go and watch. They were in walking distance, so we would go to we went like every night, sometimes 2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Plus the fights are cool. The fights are
Yeah.
cool.
My favorite fight was at a minor league hockey game, and I'm going for the hometown team, but like they get in this fight, and the visiting team, the guy, I mean, he won the fight. Like it was, but he did the funniest thing. He turns to the crowd, like I'm sitting in the crowd full of the hometown team. He goes like this. He's like, and like I start busting out laughing because they're like, "Oh, screw you!" They're all booing him, and I'm laughing. I'm like, "That was the perfect thing to do." He just beat the guy up, and he's like, I was like, "Props to that dude!" Like that was funny.
Yeah. So my company has a booth at the Cyclones games. So like every now and then I'll do that and I'll go and hang out in the booth. It's weird to be able to watch it from up top. And then not only that, like everything carries up there. So like everything is so much louder. The vibrations are
Yeah.
crazy. So I went to a Bengals game. It was the Bengals versus Steelers. No, Bengals versus Ravens. Sorry. Bengals versus Ravens. There was a mix-up with my tickets that I had already prepaid for. They gave me, because of the mix-up, they gave me seats in like one of the booths.
Nice.
At the old Paul Brown Stadium, okay? And when I went in there to this booth, free drinks, there was like all the hot dogs you can fucking eat, so I ate like 65 of those things. But
Yeah,
like being able to watch it inside that booth was like it was weird, but it was like so cool
I bet.
because the view that you get, it's like not necessarily right at the halfway, the 50-yard line, but it was like offset. So like once they get to a certain side of the field, it's like okay, you can't really make out what's happening, but it's still cool. But that was one of my favorite experiences, was going to a Bengals game versus the Ravens. And I'll tell you right now, man, when you have like, because I don't know necessarily like what a rivalry is for the Dallas Cowboys. What is it? The Eagles?
Eagles, Commanders, or Redskins, and the Giants mostly.
Okay.
The
So
division.
like for us, going to a game with the Browns is fun. But going to a game with the Steelers or the Ravens, we will fight each other. We will literally fight each other. People will get kicked out all the time for fighting or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is one of my favorite memories. Like going to one of those games. We won by like 17 points that day, so that was also really fun.
Yeah.
Leah, I will take you to an NFL game, bro. I will buy the tickets. I will travel to you, and I will take you to a game.
Yeah, she's a Dolphins fan, right?
I have no idea, but
There you go.
I'd still do it.
Yep. There you go.
I'd still do it. You know what is another sport that I hate fucking watching on TV, but I love to watch live?
What?
Basketball.
I was about to say the NBA.
Yeah, the basketball. I hate watching that shit on television. I hate it. It's like you run for 5 seconds and you're at this goal. You run for 5 seconds, you're at this goal. I hate watching it. But like
I used to love watching it more. Yeah, I've been to live games, but like I used to love watching Jordan play. Like I grew up on Jordan, and then like
oh yeah,
so funny thing is, it I got to go see Michael Jordan play in Dallas when I was like in fourth grade. But like the tickets were super expensive, and this is like '97. So I don't know how it worked back then because I was just a kid. But I remember my mom, she wrote a letter to the owner of the Mavericks saying it was like my lifelong dream to watch I didn't know this at the time, but apparently she wrote a letter. It was a lifelong dream for my son to watch Michael Jordan, and you're pricing us all out of the game. Apparently, the owner sent her discounted tickets for me, my sister, and my parents to go. And I ironically, the one game I went to go see Jordan play is the game they lost to the Mavericks, who ended up becoming my favorite team afterwards after Jordan retired. But yeah, props to my mom. Yeah, that was quite the experience.
I was quite young at the time, but the athlete that I looked up to the most, Larry Bird. And I hated the NBA after that, but wanted to play, but yeah, I hated the NBA. Larry Bird was who I looked up to the most as an athlete. I just caught this. Whose season is over?
I didn't hear any of that just now. Now it catches up. Whatever you just said just now.
No, I was saying I don't
It
know
all
if you
cut
caught
out.
it. I don't know if you caught it or not, but I was really young. But the athlete that I looked up to the most was Larry Bird.
No, I didn't catch that. Now I know.
Yeah. Like watching him play was super, super fun, but so I think he retired in like 92 or 93.
Yeah, I'd have been 5, so I didn't really get to experience Larry Bird.
Yeah, I was born in 84, but so I remember his.
Yeah. Yeah.
Were you,
Towards the end of his career, you got to see him.
speaking of age and all that kind of nonsense, do you remember the Monica Lewinsky and Bill Clinton thing?
Oh, of course.
Did they show the trial in your school?
What year would that have been? I don't think they did.
I don't remember. 90 something, 90, 94, 95.
I don't know. Like, I don't think they did though. Like, I was young, man. Like, I think I was probably first grade, second grade when all that went down. I was young.
Okay, I'm showing my age. I'm 41, so
Well, I'm 37, so I turned 38 this year. But like, I don't think they would to us for that trial. I don't think they would have.
get out of here, bro.
98.
Get
It
out of
happened in
here,
98.
dude.
So
I remember
I
when
know,
I was
right?
30.
Yeah. I do too. That's when my body said, "Screw you."
Okay. 98. That makes sense. Something like that. Somewhere around there. But yeah, like man, we were in school and like that was back in the day when they made you stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. I honestly, realistically, I don't even know if they still do that. But yeah, like they were so political back then. Like they would watch any of the wars that happened. They would watch any news when your social study class, like they would put that shit on and you would be able to watch it.
I do remember watching when the towers, like we watched the news footage of the towers, 9/11, and then when we bombed Iraq in 2003, I was in the library my freshman year, uh, watching that. I do remember
I know
those.
it.
I don't know the trial.
I know exactly where I was that day. So yeah, and honestly, I think like a lot of Americans do. Like I think everybody knows pretty much where they were 9/11.
Yeah.
I was not in school, but that's when I had my yeah, I was a security guard. That's whenever I got my security guard job. Yeah.
You already out of school?
Yeah, I was out of school.
Oh yeah, that's right. I was in 8th grade in 9/11. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
8th grade.
I mean, technically I dropped out in the 10th. I think I was set to graduate 2003, 2004.
I bet you were 02 or 03. You were 2?
She was
My
2?
God. Not for
Bro.
9/11. Oh, I was gonna
There
say,
ain't no-
okay, never mind. I was like, you scared me there for a second.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 2 and with Clinton, the trial of Bill Clinton. So I was in 8th grade. Yeah. All right. I bet you would have been a senior in high school for 9/11.
Who, me?
You're 40. Yeah, 41 now. Yeah, about that age gap.
I mean, I didn't go to my senior year. I had already had a job, and I
I know.
dropped out in the 10th.
You would have been. You would have been if you were still in school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was paying taxes.
Man. And I thought I was just some stud quarterback in 8th grade for my football team in 8th grade.
Bro. So, my mom, God rest her soul, she knows how mad I am at her right now because she can obviously hear me. I was so mad at her because she would not let me play football.
What?
Yeah, I wanted to so bad, like, because okay, I'm short as fuck. I'm only 4'11". But like I could throw a football, and that was my favorite thing to do. Like we would go down to the park like literally every day after school or whatever, and we would do like the tackle football or whatever. And I always wanted to play. She would not let me play, dude. I was so mad at her.
You could have won. You could have won state.
I don't know about that. I don't know if I was
You-
any good or not, but like I always played quarterback.
You could have
And
been The Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio, bro.
I could have been, dude. No, yeah. I'm not tooting my own horn. I don't know if I was any good or whatever, but I loved playing football, and I always played quarterback, and I never lost on our little home field. Never. It. I loved playing, and my mom would never let me play. I was so mad at her for that.
So you could be still taking snaps like Aaron Rodgers is. He's 41. So you could have easily been doing that right now. Thanks,
I
Mom.
don't know. I don't know, dude. I was too. I think I was too short to ever like be able to be anything great. So I'm definitely not saying that, but I would have loved to have been able to play because that's all I wanted to be was a Norwood Indian. That's all I wanted to be.
Doug Flutie was short. He played in the pros. You remember Doug Flutie?
Yeah. Well, I mean, back then I was pretty short, but I was stocky as fuck, like 160 pounds. But I wasn't fat. Like I was just built, and obviously now I'm fat, but it is
So am
what
I.
it is. But to be in high school, 9th and 10th grade, to be in those years and be 160 pounds at 5'8", that's pretty. I mean, that's pretty big
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Too late. We already put it on there, Leah. She said, "Don't tell anybody." Well, YouTube's gonna know.
Yeah,
Maybe she was like the icebox from Little Giants.
I dated a couple cheerleaders, but yeah, that's one of the things. Like, I don't think I ever forgave her for that either. Like, Mom, you're an asshole, bro. You're an asshole. That's that. Nah, I mean, obviously.
Oh, I have beef. Yeah, I still have beef with my sister. She's alive, but I still have beef with my younger sister because we were only 2 years apart. And every time I was interested in one of her friends, I was the older brother. Anytime I was interested in one of her friends, she made them choose them or me. I'm like, it doesn't have to be that way. I can date your friends. I still pick up like I'm still salty about that. Like, who does that?
I think my grandmother is traumatized. There is 9 grandchildren, all boys. All
No granddaughters.
Boys. No granddaughters.
Ooh. Same. Well said.
I mean, it is what it is. Like, I don't have any animosity or hatred towards my mother for it, but like that's one of the things growing up. Like, I pursued it so much. Like, I tried out for the team. I got accepted, and she was like, "I'm not signing these permission slips." Sorry, dude. And I'm like, why? And she's like, because you can get hurt, you can get brain damage, the padding, the stuff that they have to wear, like, you can get brain damage. I'm not doing it. I was so upset and mad about it. Now, would I have went and got a scholarship to college? Would I have made it to the NFL? No, probably not. Probably not. But yeah, like, I wanted to play so fucking bad.
Could have played college ball, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to. I wanted to, for sure.
Shoot, I think I got several concussions playing football. I'm pretty sure I did, and I just kept playing.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was never allowed, but I wanted to. Like, that was my dream. That was my goal. I wanted to play ball. But yeah, I dated like 9 cheerleaders all through, in between 8th grade and 10th grade when I dropped out. not 8 or 9 cheerleaders. I mean, I was a popular kid, but and I think that might have been what like made me want to to be on the team, I guess. Back in the day we called the popular kids white hats. Was that a was that a popular term?
Preps. When I was
Preps.
when I was they say the popular crowd, but I feel like it was more economical because I didn't feel popular, but I guess the people I hung around with lived comfortably, I guess. So I was automatically called a prep, and then people that called me prep came from disadvantaged families. So I'm like, I don't,
Yeah.
I don't feel like I never felt like I was so popular, but I guess considering who I hung out with, so
So, yeah, I mean, for me, yeah, I was popular, but like I hung out with everybody. It didn't matter if they were a nerd or if they were a jock. It didn't matter. Like I hung out with everybody, and I think that's what like gained me most of my popularity. I guess I don't really know, but yeah, wanted to play for sure, bro. Kids, kids playing baseball right now. I mean, think about the money that's in baseball. There is so much more money in baseball than there is in football.
and a longer shelf life if you're good.
Longer. Yeah.
You can make a
Let
living playing in the minor leagues.
Yes.
Yep.
So one of my best friends ever was in minor leagues and he got drafted to a team in Mexico.
Yeah.
And in Mexico, he was making $5,000 a month. That might not sound like a lot of money, but that is a lot of money. He
A
was
lot of
making
money.
$5,000 a month in Mexico, and he was just playing a game.
Yep.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
5,000 a month. 5,000 a month?
And 5,000 a month goes a long way in Mexico.
Oh, yeah, definitely in Mexico.
Yeah.
Here, I don't.
You
Here, I don't.
get well, I mean, 5,000 would be comfortable for me, which I
Yeah.
have. So I mean, like, and
Yeah.
playing heck yeah, I'd do it.
Every now and then he watches the live recording of this, so I will give him a shout out. I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to, but the man was legit. He was a left-handed pitcher, could throw it 102 miles per hour, right?
Nice.
And never got called up to major leagues or nothing like that, nothing crazy. Left-handed pitcher throwing 102 didn't get called up.
Crazy.
That's crazy. 102 fastball. Left-handed.
I wonder if he could tell us why, because I know Randy Johnson, remember him? He threw 100 miles per hour. And then you got several others that can do it. I don't know. We just have to ask him why he thought he never got called up.
Maybe because most of his games were in Mexico. Maybe.
Could be.
I don't know.
But how long did he do that for?
9 years.
So he made a decent living for 9 years playing the fun game.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It is cool. And like so we have a ritual. Not since he moved to San Antonio, Texas. So not since he moved to San Antonio, Texas, but when I met him, we were working in a grocery store. And that's how we became friends or whatever, but we became workout partners. Bro, this motherfucker, he's lifting 405, something like that, bench.
Mhm.
leg lifting over 1,000 pounds in the major league or the minor leagues, not the major leagues, in the minor leagues in Mexico, throwing 102 left-handed, never got called up. How do you miss a player like that?
I don't know.
It's crazy.
I don't know, man. Like sometimes, I guess in that business, you got to know somebody. I guess.
It's probably true. I mean, yeah, and I mean, obviously, I don't know anything about that sport, like what their scouts do or where they go or where they don't go or whatever. I know that they do a lot of scouting in China or Japan.
Man.
Yeah, they do a lot of scouting there. I don't know if they
Yeah.
do anything in Mexico, but 102 as a left-hander? Crazy that he never got
You
called
got
up.
the thing too. I bet during his time they didn't have the World Baseball Classic like they do now. I guarantee if he got to showcase during that, probably would have got a better look.
Yeah. At
Because
this time, it was probably 11 years ago,
yeah, I
12
don't think
years ago, something like that.
they had it then. Because he could have pitched for Mexico. I think. I think he can.
He was telling me about so he rented a place in Mexico and he was like, he showed me pictures of everything and all that kind of stuff. The place that he rented in Mexico was like a fucking concrete bunker. It had windows, no fucking glass windows. He rented it for like 150 a month. And it was like 3 beds. And I'm like, 150 a month? That's cheap as fuck. But
And then the rest of it was disposable income, I'm sure.
yeah, 5,000 a month to play minor league baseball. That's crazy. I would 100% 100% support playing baseball.
Yeah. Plus, even though they're thick, you got a lot of thick guys that play in Major League Baseball. David Ortiz was from the Dominican Republic, and he's one of the bigger guys that played.
I did. There was so many windows in this little. It was 3 or 4 bedrooms. I don't remember. 3 or 4 bedrooms. It was made out of concrete, and there was windows in this place. No glass inside these windows. Obviously, he made enough money to buy glass windows, but yeah, like the place that he rented had no glass, but several windows. It was a nice little place, but the temperature never got cold enough to ever worry about it, I guess, realistically. But 5,000 a month. Yeah. If I could go back in time, baseball would be where it's at, bro.
That's the problem. I was bitter about that. Like growing up, I had Little League baseball. Loved playing it. Loved baseball. But my high school did not have high school baseball. Still don't. It still doesn't. All the surrounding schools do, but they still don't. My hometown.
That's
don't.
another thing too. Like my school had a baseball team and a football team. The baseball team never got any recognition. Nobody really ever cared about it. But yeah, like I would have loved to have played. I wanted to be an Indian. That's all I can say. I was so mad that I couldn't be. I never
You want to be a
forgave her
Cleveland
for
Indian?
that. No.
Or are you
not
talking
a
about your high school?
Cleveland Indian. My high school, yeah.
I'm still mad they changed the name of Cleveland Indians. I grew up liking the Cleveland Indians and the Rangers. Like Cleveland Indians when they had Albert Bell, Jim Thome, Manny Ramirez, Kenny Lofton.
Oh
They
yeah.
changed it. Guardians. The Guardians. Why?
I love playing volleyball. Up until 2 years ago, I was in a league, like played beach volleyball all the time. Loved it.
I used to play pickup softball, like like the slow pitch softball. I love playing that too. That was fun.
Yeah, I can't do volleyball anymore, especially leagues, because I dated a lady that is on one of the teams, and it's not a good vibe. We were very toxic with each other, and I walked away from that, and I don't go and play anymore. I probably should. I don't have anything to worry about, but yeah, it was a very toxic relationship. We hated each other, but loved playing beach volleyball.
She still
Beach?
play? Does she
Beach.
still play it?
Beach. She does, yeah. Yeah, she's on a league. What is it? It's fall, summer, spring, no winter, because obviously it's played outside. So fall, winter, spring. Yeah, there's leagues. Yeah.
Roxy.
Okay. I might get in trouble for this. Best sex I ever had.
That's why you put up with it for so long, didn't you?
Yeah. That's probably. I'm gonna delete this recording. No,
You might just go back and edit this portion out.
No, I'm kidding. No, I mean, yeah, it was fun. She frequents all the places that I would play, so I just don't do it.
It must have ended pretty badly then for you to avoid those places.
Oh, bro, it was toxic as fuck. Obviously, I'm not gonna go into it, but yeah, it was.
No,
super
yeah.
toxic.
Yeah,
I can, but like we've already been live for an hour and a half, so I'm just not going to go into it. But yeah, it was pretty toxic. So yeah, we ended things. Not only did we end things pretty terribly, but yeah, that's just one of the reasons that I don't go. She frequents all the places that I went to because she's on multiple leagues. I was on multiple leagues. I would go and play on these leagues 4 times a week. So just don't do it anymore.
Yeah. That's all right. We can still do what we talked about doing and starting the business venture of, we're going into those energy drinks and we were talking about having our own podcast studio because we may not going into business together.
Oh yeah,
What were
we
we talking about?
absolutely need to.
Yeah, we talked about energy drinks, but something
multiple things. So like
Yeah.
I've got so many ideas. They're probably not good ideas, but I got so many ideas. But energy drinks 100% want to start a business like that. I just don't know the chemistry to be able to make them. I've got ideas, but I got to find somebody that knows what they're doing with the chemistry. And then that would be that. Outside of that, like my dreams and aspirations, cigar lounge and bar. It's what I want to own.
Definitely. Suits required.
Absolutely. Never played beach volleyball. That is a shame because it is super fucking fun. all we need to do is just like live close to each other, bro, and then it's over for like the rest of the world.
Yeah, we start making money. It won't matter where we live. We can just do whatever we want.
100%.
And like we make enough money to have a badass podcast studio, and definitely like sponsors and all that. It's not even about the followers. It's just about being able to be our own bosses. For me,
Oh yeah, facts.
Yeah.
Roxy, you live in Columbus?
really.
That's like less than an hour away. Like what, 30 minutes away from me?
Dang.
Because I'm just in Cincinnati, but I'm just like 8 minutes north of Cincinnati, Norwood.
I definitely want to visit there sometime too. I know you talked about coming down here, but definitely want to visit up there too.
Oh yeah, sometime in the near future, I'm gonna come down, hang out.
All right. I would have a lot more to say, but I gotta go. I gotta go to the bathroom.
Bro, we've been live for like an hour and a half. We can end at any time.
All right, it's probably a good time.
It's a good time.
But we'll talk more on the business ventures.
Absolutely. Love all your
Do that
faces.
shit. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Adios.